Well, hello everyone, it's Thor, and today we're going to be taking a look at the chart of Casey Anthony. As many of you might remember, over a decade ago, Casey Anthony was accused of murdering her daughter and was basically acquitted after a very tearful trial that took place. And she is one of the most controversial figures in the world right now. There's a lot of people that think very badly of her, and she's about to release a new docu-series on a network called Peacock, and it's going to be appearing on November 29th. So what I wanted to do was take a look at what's going on with Casey Anthony, why she wanted to come out in the press and in this docu-series despite being one of the most loathed people in the world, because that's what we're all thinking. We're all kind of scratching our heads, wondering what's going on there. So that's what we're going to be taking a look at, and we're going to answer through looking at the astrology chart. For those of you that are new to my channel, please like and subscribe. My goal is 10,000 subscribers. And I practice Vedic astrology, which uses the sidereal zodiac. So that if you're new to this, it might not be the same as your Western tropical sign. If you are interested in a personal reading, please look for details down below. I have a special discount for the holidays that you can check if you visit my website. All right, so let's go talk about Casey Anthony's chart. And obviously, before we look into the chart, I just want to say that this is my interpretation of Casey's astrological chart. All these are alleged statements based on my interpretation of the astrology. So let's take a look. All right, here's the chart of Casey Anthony. And, one of the things I was thinking about is particularly what is the motivation? Why right now? Why is there this new docu-series? Why does she want to come out and make her voice known, despite people like Nancy Grace already coming out and being extremely angry that she has this platform basically to speak her mind? Well, one of the things we can take a look at is the planetary period that Casey Anthony's in, and that's going to be indicated by the Vimshottari dashas. That's one of the beauties of Vedic astrology is we have these planetary periods where we can get a lot more information on what kind of karma is ripening in your life, and that's why I think Vedic astrology is so really great at this. She's in a Saturn period, so she's in Saturn Mahadasha, and that actually started January 28th, 2011, and this is the big period. She's in a Saturn period all the way till 2030. So Saturn is really flavoring her experience at the moment. So it looks like right about the time she was acquitted, she entered this Saturn Mahadasha. So she's been in it ever since. So let's take a look at what Saturn indicates. So Saturn, if you notice, it's in the 10th house in the Casey Anthony chart. So it does show a lot of, what's interesting is 10th house represents public reputation, image, how people perceive you. And in a lot of ways, Saturn in the 10th house could make somebody a hard worker, but there's a lot of public criticism there. Because wherever Saturn is, it shows some sort of rejection, and that's what we see. There's a lot of this public rejection. She has a lot of fame. I mean, think about it. You can be famous and be a criminal, like if you get all over the news headlines, and that's what she is. Because if you look, Saturn is the first lord. The first lord's in the 10th house, so she's really well known. Okay, but what I wanted to bring up was Saturn is a planet of restriction. It's a planet of losing things. It's a planet of usually when people are in survival mode and they have no money and they're feeling a lot of public disapproval. That's when you're going to be either in a Saturn Bhukti or Saturn Mahadasha. Saturn is a very difficult karma in anybody's chart. So let's take a look at the chart again. You'll notice that even though it rules the first house, it's a mixed planet for Aquarius ascendant, and that's what Casey is. It also rules the 12th house. So notice the 12th house represents losses. And this is like a loss of, when we're talking about losses, This could be a loss of money. This could be a loss of, prestige, a loss of respect, a loss of vitality. Even aging is associated with the 12th house. So there's this idea of losses. And I could definitely, this could definitely be financial losses, which is the motivating factor here, why she's wanting to make this tell-all docu-series, where she doesn't have any creative control, by the way, in this docu-series. So there could be a lot of, Saturn puts people in desperate situations where they need money or they need some sort of help or assistance there. So definitely we could be seeing that here with this whole situation. The other thing I want to point out in Casey's chart is she's in a moon bhukti at the moment. The moon bhukti started December of 2021, and she's going to be in the moon bhukti until August of 2023. That's the sub period, 2023. So moon period is much indicated. Fifth house represents things like celebrity. So there's definitely this idea of just wanting to get in the spotlight, wanting to be famous, even if it's infamous, because of what the fifth house represents. It also is in the 10th house of the Navamsa chart. Again, this wanting to get public attention. So there's also this craving for attention. And she could be, even though she has this strong disapproval from Saturn over here, I just want to get all this attention. And then if we look, the moon, or sorry, I was gonna bring up Saturn again. Is Saturn is in the 6th house of, if we take the moon as Lagna, Saturn's in the 6th house there. I forgot to bring this up when we were looking at Saturn. We were just talking about moon. But Saturn in the 6th house from moon also indicates losses, debt, financial problems, all types of things like that. So we have a mix there of this idea of wanting to get out. Maybe there's some financial insecurity there, but also there's this idea of wanting to get out in the spotlight and wanting to get known. And maybe she wants to get her story out. And so let's go check a look at where transiting Rahu is. For those of you that might remember, transiting Rahu is in the sign of Aries at the moment, and Ketu's in the sign of Libra. She's going through a nodal return. This is a big deal. Whenever you're going through a nodal return, or a Rahu return is what they call it, there's usually a big fork in the road. We might see her more in the public eye after that, even though she's very controversial figure. We might see her more in the media, more interviews, more things like this over the next upcoming year. The reason why I say that is the 3rd house, it represents things like media communications. And then if we look at from the moon chart over here, Rahu's in the 11th house again. So when you're looking at media communications, it's going to be like 3rd and 11th houses. That's all about getting your face out in the world. People are seeing you in social media. People are seeing you on the internet. People are seeing you on the TV. They're seeing your face everywhere. So that's being strongly highlighted during this time. Well, and what's really interesting is when we look at Casey's chart, Rahu's in the 3rd house. So there is this idea of wanting to get noticed, wanting to be known, wanting to also, what's interesting is not only having that image out there in the public communications or public media, but there is this idea of also making money through it, making money through your voice and speech and things like that. The 3rd house represents self-earned wealth. So if we back up for a second, 3rd house represents self-earned wealth, money that you can make just on your own, not necessarily by having a job or a boss. That's what's indicated with the 3rd house. So Rahu being in the 3rd house shows this idea of trying to really cash out right now on what's going on. There's a desire for this self-earned wealth. 3rd house also represents story. Moon in the 5th house also represents stories. There might be a book even. We could actually see some sort of book deal as well, by the way. So keep your eyes on that. I know that a lot of people, obviously, Nancy Grace was one of them, don't think very highly of Casey, but it does look like we're going to see more of Casey Anthony, for better or for worse. That's what the chart indicates. So thank you guys for watching, and let me know what you think down in the comments down below, and I will see you guys in the next video.